already commended by Lagarde. Both Bank of France and Montenegro evaluated Tips' connection to the XRP ledger. Don't pay attention to the sounds, truth against fantasy. Additionally, this indicates that the paper is fraudulent. They used the inverted signatures to promote the White Rocks token throughout X earlier today. There are a lot of phony documents available at the moment. It's not real. To locate the facts, you must comb through the news. According to Chad Steingrammer, the brilliant stablecoin law might contribute to XRP's rise to $250.00. At the moment, they are predicting a wide range of prices, and this is what I believe is happening. Nobody really understands where we are in this cycle yet, in my opinion, since there have been numerous delays. Even when a breakout appears to be about to start, the market is pushed back down by a real-world occurrence. However, he wants to draw attention to this particular topic. Therefore, he is highlighting the genius. Acts as what he believes to be the possible trigger. The bill may pave the way for XRP's breakthrough if it passes. Most people think the law will provide XRP the institutional trust and regulatory clarity it needs to enter a new stage of price discovery and adoption. Though their assertions are still hypothetical, other members of the XRP community have expressed similar opinions. For starters, Versina Black Swan Capitalist stated last month that the replacement of SWIFT by XRP might be the first step. He maintained that the Genius Act might facilitate the large-scale digitization of US debt by stablecoin issuers, creating new avenues for liquidity outside of the Federal Reserve System. He thinks that this could be advantageous for XRP. The Genius Act is scheduled to be passed in approximately 1 week. Either this week or the following week, it will occur. That will provide us with the first clue as to what the future holds for stable currency. Will it increase XRP's value? It won't happen on the first day, in my opinion. This is what I believe will occur. Over time, you'll notice a rise in stablecoin usage. Additionally, the use of these reliable coins, particularly RLUSD, may cause XRP's price to fluctuate. The system will digitize the asset that can move from point A to point B, regardless of how you interpret this. Additionally, this John Carlo from the CFTC is here. Listen up, in 5 years, tokenized digital networks will be used for virtual communication. Additionally, I believe that within 10 years, there won't be any significant securities, debt, or equity offerings that aren't tokenized on the blockchain. And those securities offerings that stay in the analog condition will be similar to the dormant coupon clipping bonds and bearer bonds and DTC's vault, not tokenized. Securities on-chain will resemble the digital images on your smartphone, while non-digitized securities will resemble those old dusty photo books. He is arguing that things will simply be left behind if they do not transition to digital and instead remain analog. And pay attention to what he said. Tokenized networks will be used to move all of the money in the upcoming 5 years. It will take place before 2030. Now, you can already see how quickly things are progressing. Things have changed since a few years ago. First of all, in 2022, the anti-crypto army in Washington was attempting to impede progress. Things are going much more quickly now that we have a president that supports cryptocurrency and so on, particularly in the United States. The rest of the globe will therefore have to keep up if things in the US move more quickly, and that is what will continue to occur, will arrive sooner rather than later that way. What is XRP? If each is a technological play and Bitcoin is digital gold? Listen to this video clip. Specifically in relation to exchange-traded products on the cryptocurrency side of things, do you believe that the demand for some of the exchange-traded products associated with non-Bitcoin cryptocurrency will be stronger? Yes, I do. I believe Jay was spot on when he said that we're still very young and that there is a learning process that needs to be completed. For example, let's use Ethereum. In contrast to Bitcoin, which many of you consider to be digital gold, I see Ether as a technological play, and figuring out how it fits into a diverse portfolio takes some time for advisors and institutional investors to become accustomed to. We're just too early, in my opinion. As that education takes place, I believe investors will feel a lot more at ease making investments in something like Ether. The SEC is currently considerably more crypto friendly, as you can honestly tell. Later in the year, I anticipate a surge of cryptocurrency exchange traded funds, ETFs, to hit the market. As a result, investors will have a lot more options to choose from in the cryptocurrency market. For institutional investors, what I would refer to as XRP is essential. Moving value from one location to another is something they might use every day. Additionally, it will present these businesses with a plethora of opportunities. Additionally, it's not as simple as buying XRP and waiting for the price to rise before selling it. It has a practical application. The whole banking system is affected because it can shift that value in a matter of seconds rather than days. It removes all costs and hours of time that are wasted during payments. Managing Director Dag discusses the potential effects of XRP ETFs on the price of XRP. Jake Claver is the source of this information. Furthermore, he states that he believes the XRP ETFs will push the price of XRP to $12.00 based on his observations of the Bitcoin ETFs. It might rise even farther, in my opinion. As you can see, the Bitcoin ETFs were flashy, fresh, and well liked by consumers. They made the investment for that reason. It introduced them to Bitcoin. XRP is an entirely separate species. It's something with practical applications. I believe that you could 4 times the amount of money that we saw move into Bitcoin ETFs into XRP. That's my perspective on it. And depending on how much liquidity flows into those XRP ETFs, I'm guessing $12.00, but I'm more likely to think $20.00 or more. Standard Chartered says the best cryptocurrency to purchase before it jumps 450%. Thus, Standard Chartered is promoting XRP once more. Additionally, they believe that XRP has the potential to surpass Ethereum. Nevertheless, they also estimate that by the end of 2028, XRP will have reached $12.00 and 50 cents. That will be a very long time before it does. There are a lot of factors that we haven't even considered yet. The ISO people aren't paying attention to things like custody and tokenization. At the moment, they are only considering market capitalization and the quantity of XRP. And since the institutions will be using this money on a daily basis, they are not accounting for institutional utility. If we didn't sell too soon, the majority of us will already be financially independent by 2028. It might possibly occur before then. I feel like this run is going to change everything. This run will provide everyone holding XRP with money that could change their lives. That's my perspective. All banks and institutions are authorized to provide XRP by SAC Commissioner Hester Pierce. Listen to what she has to say. By removing SAB 121, we hope to convey that anyone with prior experience in detention is welcome to enter this area. It's not to suggest that crypto-native businesses can't offer custody. Rather, it's to say that we want the pool of viable custodians to be as large as possible. That is the wisest course of action for safeguarding people's assets. In reality, they want banks to get involved in both cryptocurrency and custody because they want customers to store their cryptocurrency assets with them rather than using another custody service. The banks will be supplanted by something else. Possibly a super app if they don't join the bandwagon quickly. The program allows you to buy and sell cryptocurrency. Additionally, it offers a custody option. However, banks can use cryptocurrency to provide new options. I don't see why these banks are more willing to get involved because of this. However, I believe the root of the problem is a lack of knowledge about cryptocurrency. We are aware of what cryptocurrency is, but the majority of individuals who are not in it, all they see is Bitcoin. They never heard of anything else. When you mention something like XRP, XBAR, or XDC to them, they ask, what the hell is that? And it remains a significant issue. I believe that many banks will already have lost the majority of their clientele to the competition once they begin to understand what XRP is. Chris Larson of Cryptocurrency Entrepreneur is offering $9,400,000, 0 cents, to renovate the San Francisco Police Tech Hub. Ripple is once more contributing to a greater good. And this is a common occurrence. They always look for ways to make San Francisco better. Chris Larson. And with Ripple, we've witnessed this several times. They've just done this with educators and learning in general. This is what makes Ripple's work appealing. They serve the community in many ways. To put it another way,